Welcome to the ACSA Campus Tour, where on Tuesdays we take you to another part of the state to talk with a district administrator about what's happening in their school community. Joining us today is Oscar Macias, the principal from the Luther Burbank Middle School in Burbank Unified School District. Oscar, let me ask you about the successes and challenges in your school community. What has been the experience like for you and your staff and your students? And those challenges, are they challenges that you expected you were going to face?
Thank you for asking that question. I think we've seen both sides, quite honestly. A lot more positives, which I'm happy about. Not that I expected more negatives, but obviously we expect a lot of connection issues, technology divide. But what I've seen successfully is our teachers highly collaborate, our district having a really comprehensive plan, professional development, things getting in place. But the feedback that I've gotten from parents and kids, especially, because we try to reach out to them and get that feedback, has been positive. They've been patient. They understand. They're seeing this instruction transform from the physical standpoint to the digital format, and the innovation and creativity is there. The engagement is there, and I'm really proud of that. So that's a positive, and we're continuing that. We're in our third week, so we're still uncovering new challenges and new structures and barriers that we have to overcome. But for the most part, it's been really positive, and I'm really proud of our school site and our district.
Now, you being in middle school, you're kind of unique, and you have students that are coming from the comforts of elementary school and others that are taking that last step towards high school. Because of that, how do you replicate that environment of middle school?
Number one, the easiest thing that you can try to replicate is the relationship factor, the connection. So one of the things that I had to transform in my mindset is, how do we do that? So it's making sure that we have that. Like for me, my virtual office door is always open. Coffee with the principal in a digital format. Same thing, connecting with our faculty and staff, but mainly our kids is reaching out to them. So one of the things that we're doing right now, and I'm really proud of, is our ASB. They're gathering ideas. I meet with them once a week as well to see what they're trying to replicate. In other words, our clubs. So we have virtual clubs that are starting at the end of this week where they can reach out socially and connect with their peers, which is something that they're really, truly missing. So for our incoming sixth graders, it's been a challenge, because one of the things that we try to do is make sure that they are initiated and oriented to this new community. But in this virtual format, we had to replicate that in a different way. So it's all virtual. Virtual clubs with ASB is a big thing. One of the other things that we've had in this program, brand new, was the advisory program, social emotional learning. So that's being woven in all our lessons with our teachers. We're trying to figure out how we can replicate that advisory program into the virtual format. So that's a work in progress. And what I like about ACSA especially is I get to reach out to peers all over the state and say, hey, what do you have? What can I learn from you? So internally here in Burbank Unified, I have peers that I reach out to across the state. It's been a completely invaluable resource, but we're trying to connect with kids in a virtual format, and it's an ongoing process. So social clubs with ASB is a big thing.
Now, you were an author in the September-October edition of Leadership Magazine. You wrote an article titled Social and Emotional Competence, Emotional Intelligence, and the Pro-Social Leader, which our viewers can read at leadership.acsa.org. In summary, how the COVID-19 pandemic, school closures, and distance learning can guide leaders. So I know that you put this article together in the spring. Tell me about the changes from March, when schools closed, until now, and how what you wrote applies to school leaders.
So in the spring, and I think we've all been exposed to this, crisis teaching. Well, it's the same thing for me. It was crisis leadership. It was kind of riding the ship, so to speak, and trying to figure things out, reaching out to my district officials, getting support from peers. So one of the things that I learned from the spring to now, and the reason why I wrote that article, was having to change my mindset on leadership. I shared this with a fellow colleague recently. I feel like I'm a brand new principal all over again. I really do, because I had to change from my organization, my planning, how I connect with people and all the stakeholders. So my mindset had to change. The foundation of that article, though, came from a spot where I felt everyone was super stressed and overwhelmed. It was a brand new environment. We were trying to make ends meet. We're trying to figure it out. It was, how do I take care of myself, which is unfortunately, sometimes I don't do that. As a school leader, it's one of my biggest challenges every year. Service leadership and what I do, I often reach out to the community, them first, our kids, our faculty, our support staff, our parents. What I learned from the spring was, man, I better take care of myself, my mental health, my social emotional being. If I'm not right, I'm not okay, I'm not going to be well for my community, whether I'm in the physical format or in this case, the virtual format. So that was the foundation of that article. So what I learned from the spring to now is I need to make sure, and I did, have my feet on the ground, my mindset right, making sure that my personal life is attended to. That made sure that my professional life was going to be attended to. So that was a big transition. It was a big shift in my mindset. And one of the things that was important to me, and I kind of reflected that in the article, and I'm proud of, is the ACSA mentoring program. So I've been a part of that, and Dr. Kyle Bruick in Glendale is someone that I've been connected with. I'm supposed to be his mentor, but throughout this process, I was learning a lot from him, more than probably I was teaching him, and it was a great thing. But this connection and that network and support is what is something that I'm trying to develop here with myself, with our leadership team here, with my peers in our district. It's something that I think we all need to work at in every school district, is making sure that we're taking care of each other, school site leaders, principals, administrators, district officials. We do a very good job of making sure that everyone else is okay. I need to know, and I need to act a little bit better and show my leadership in this sense, and why I wrote this article. And it's a mission of mine. How do I take care of myself, other school leaders, and making sure, because if we're not good mentally, we're not going to run an effective school site. And that's an important piece. And the mental health piece is a broad subject. We're really good at it with our kids. We're getting better at it with our teachers and other adults. But for ourselves, it's something that I think is a gap that needs to be addressed.
Oscar Macias, the principal from Luther Burbank Middle School in the Burbank Unified School District. Oscar, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and continued success with this program. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Oscar, very much. Honored to have you. And folks, thank you so much for being with us today. Remember, on Tuesdays, we take you to another part of the state, talk with a district leader about the successes and challenges they are experiencing. That comes your way Tuesdays here on the ACSA Campus Tour.